happening before NASA.
You're the unidentified source?
Oh, yes.
We're dealing with an intelligent entity. We're planning a mission to attack this thing. I'm asking you for your help.
Say yes, Brian.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 science fiction action film Moonfall, a film that is directed by the master of disaster, Roland Emmerich, and it stars Patrick Wilson, Halle Berry and John Bradley. Now, the film essentially plays with the premise of the moon is falling out of its orbit. It is, and it's like an unknown force that is making this happen. John Bradley plays like a conspiracy theorist stroke nerd who has discovered this and tries to get everybody to listen at NASA. Nobody listens. He manages to get Patrick Wilson to listen, who is an astronaut who was kicked out of the program years previously. And together they approach Halle Berry, put together like a mission to head to the moon to find out what is going on, and what they discover is something pretty shocking. Right, what are my thoughts on Moonfall? Well, this film is getting a bit of a pasting by the critics. I notice certainly the critic scores aren't very good, but the audience scores are a little bit higher. Well, quite a bit higher, certainly, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes and things. And that's because this film is one of those audience-friendly, completely forgettable, like, you know, box office cinema movies. It's not meant to be taken seriously. If you go into this film with the thought process of, I'm only going to watch this film so I can be critical of it, or, you know, to give it a good hiding, then there's going to be plenty of ammunition for you here. There is an awful lot wrong with this film. It's bloody stupid at its core. It really, really is. However, this is a Roland Emmerich film, for goodness sake. He's never really made films for you or I or anybody else to take them seriously. He makes films to entertain, and he's the master of the disaster films. He's done some absolute crackers over the years, and you could argue he's following the blueprint, but he created the blueprint, really. He's kind of following his own blueprint, which, for me, the large part of the film that disappoints is its generic copy and paste of his own movies in many, many aspects. And I found big chunks of the film quite dull because of that. It didn't have an ounce of originality, this film, at all. It was packed full of characters you are completely uninterested in. And were just unnecessary. The film could have done with a good 20 minutes shaving off the runtime to make it pop and move a little bit faster, because there are definitely some of the stuff they try and do in this film, I think, drags it down and just makes it less interesting. Some of the human stories, if you like, on Earth, I mean, it's very similar to, like I said, many of his other films. 2012, Day After Tomorrow, Independence Day. You know, you've got your heroic characters doing their heroic thing, and then you've got like the normal folk on the ground, with the boots on the ground sort of thing, trying to survive all these natural disasters and things. And this film follows that blueprint absolutely to the letter. And for me, that was probably the biggest disappointment of it. I mean, to be fair, it's a formula that has worked for Roland Emmerich time and time again, but audiences have now moved on. They expect a little bit more. They expect a little bit more intelligence in their movies these days. And this requires you as an audience member to essentially turn your brain off. And if you do that, if you go into this with full expectations of what you're going to get, you'll probably enjoy it far more. I didn't really go into this film with any illusions as to what I was going to see. What you see is what you get, and it's really what you saw in the trailer is what you're getting here in this film. There's no real, what I would describe as massive surprises here. And again, that could be seen as a weakness, you know, when they actually get to the moon and they discover what's going on. There was no real curveballs, there was no real surprises. It was kind of in the ballpark of what we all had in our imagination when you watch the trailer or when you're going in to watch this film. So yeah, it's it's one of those films really that will probably annoy proper film critics, if you like. You know, I don't class myself as one of these film critics that looks down the nose at films like this. You know, I'm quite happy to click a brain off and watch a film like this and just, you know, walk out of the cinema, you know, fairly pleased with what I saw. And that's, for the most part, what I got here. The visuals are exactly what you expect. There was a lot of money thrown at this film, and it's probably going to lose a lot of money, I'm guessing, in regards to its box office returns. That's just the way audiences and cinemas working at the minute. It's not going to make money, this. I'd be very, very surprised. But for me, the visuals are all absolutely fine. I'm not sure how many more tidal waves we could see in a Roland Emmerich film before it looks any different to the one in the 3 previous films he did. Do you know what I mean? So some of the stuff, it just feels like you're treading over old ground, and then you kind of hoping the film will make up for that when it actually gets into the moon to discover what's going on with the moon. And it doesn't really, even though it was fun to watch and it was exciting at times, you know, with the stuff that they find when they go up there. It's not believable in any way, shape or form. But it kind of, you know, kept me entertained, you know, and that's exactly what this film, I think, was made for, to entertain you. I thought the 3 leads here did a good job, especially John Bradley, who you may recognise from Game of Thrones. He's like the light relief here, the comic relief, and he does a really good job. He's a very funny character, if you like, and you do warm to him. Patrick Wilson is Patrick Wilson. He plays the heroic lead here in the film, along with Halle Berry, and they do exactly as they should in the film. You know, they're absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with their performances, even though they may lack some personality. There are other actors here in this film. Surprisingly, Michael Caine is in the film, but he might as well not have been. They give him nothing satisfying or interesting to do. There are like a couple of character deaths here in the film that you don't care about. It's supposed to give you like an emotional kick. You don't give a monkey's about because the characters are not fleshed out or interesting at all. But yeah, fairly brainless science fiction fun. If you've seen a Roland Emmerich film and you enjoy the work that he does, you'll probably get some entertainment value here. Everybody else probably avoid. So I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.